And I think we can start. Better late than never, right? Better late than never. As always, you gotta let me know if you can hear me. That is important. And we got Kitty over here in the corner, right? She loves you, as you probably know. What a lovely day. What a lovely day. Shahida, meet my soul brother is here. First things first. I know that I don't do my streams as, as every day as I would like to. But I need to travel tomorrow, so that means for the next week I'm not going to be able to do to stream. But I feel that you are in good hands, in very good hands. I think we've spoken about everything. So I thought that the last stream for the next week at least, we need to touch up on a bit of what's going on in the world, just a little bit, because we don't have time to go through everything that is really taking place. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you will, I think I can wear this t-shirt, I'm number one, because we've been able to buy low, sell high. We're now entering the third cycle where we have been buying low. It seems like we are on track to BTC 250,000, and it looks like the market is really continuing its bull phase. I'm a firm believer that the future of finance is being built on the blockchain and is being built in front of our eyes. I'm also, however, a firm believer that the current US dominance is going to implode. I also believe that the people that are, let's say, behind the curtain, the deep state, the elite, call them what you want, I think they're not so stupid that they don't know how to calculate. And when I talk about calculate, it is mathematically impossible to keep a fiat monetary system going forever. It simply doesn't work. And I believe that we are getting closer and closer towards this fiat-based monetary system, its end, and it is going to implode. Now, also what I believe is that when we have seen other empires that having based their monetary system on a fiat-based system, basically backed by nothing, after that you would also see these empires disappear. Now let's take the Roman Empire, for example. The Roman Empire, of course, they inflated the currency, their coins, and in the end it was the fall of the Roman Empire, and that was about that. Civilization or society simply acknowledged that now we have to have a fresh start and move on. I also believe that America, the US, is going to lose its dominant position as being this hegemony, as being this dominant power. And but the elite, they already calculated, they're already anticipating that. So the elite is no longer an empire that decorates themselves with nationalism in terms of having allegiance to the having flag and allegiance to the nations or whatever it's called. The people, the deep state, the elite, are going to run not only the United States. They're actually going to use the fact that the US is going to implode. They're going to use that they themselves can move up, and we will see more of, let's say, global institutions that will dictate our way of living. Some people call it a one world government, but I believe this is what I believe, and that's why I'm such a firm believer that we are going to see the fraudulent fiat-based monetary system implode, and we will then see that the new monetary system is going to be built on the blockchain, and it will be then be presented as the savior. And both the blockchain and, let's say, my assumptions about geopolitics is based on how I invest for Betty. Whew. So we're gonna go in and look at a few things today. It's not gonna be so long as always, but I hope it will give you food for thought. And I always like a good debate. So also, if you disagree, then just let me know. But of course, first things first. Before we really start, we need to go in and look at a little bit at the market. So yeah, let's do that. That's all we can do. So let's see what's going on, because it is interesting, right? We have seen a pullback. It wasn't not a flash crash, I would say. We've got a Bitcoin at 65,000 and down 5%. We got Ethereum at 3,261, down 6.5%, and then we got Solana down 5% and DOT down 5.6%. And we're looking at here at the hourly, more or less. The charts, they look, as always, more or less identical. It is interesting. Here we're looking at Bitcoin on the weekly with the 7-day moving average. And what can we say? We can say that it looks like we've been down kissing the 7-day moving average, and I'm quite bullish. I'm quite optimistic, and I think that we're going to continue on from here. I don't really see what could drag us down. But remember, should we close a week below the 7-day moving average, then it could be different. But right now, this is at least how I see it. Let's look at Bitcoin, at Ethereum. Remember, with Ethereum, we can see we are currently below the 7-day moving average, and here this is then interesting, right? We are more believer that Ethereum is the bigger indicator of the trend, or Bitcoin. I would say until we're going to see the ETFs being launched for Ethereum, I think Bitcoin currently is clearly dominant. I do believe that later on, once we're going to see the Ethereum ETFs, and once we're going to see, let's say, more real world adoption, that Ethereum is going to be dictating, and probably also, I also think it's going to increase in market cap, and we won't see Bitcoin so dominant. I do want to say a thing before we look at today's prices. I was busy today, and that's sometimes very frustrating. Today I was trying to do some trades, especially because we have seen some retracements, and I was getting some more positions, and my MetaMask simply wouldn't work with 1inch and with Uniswap. And I haven't figured out why it didn't, but it didn't work on my Mac. Thank God, after 6 hours, back and forward, then I was able to do it on my streaming computer, the Windows, which I usually don't use for trading. Not that is such an important piece of information. It is just that I consider myself, I've devoted my entire life to crypto, and I think that I should be on top of how to trade, buy and sell. And then still I have days where I spend like so much time on trying to figure the technicalities, or where in this chain of technology the mistake might be. So I'm just saying, in case you knew, this is just a part of being on board of the future of finance. Anyway, let's see. It's been a day because most of the market is down. I'm just gonna, all down. As I said, I don't think there's any reason to really be worried. And in fact, if anything, maybe get into some positions that you felt that you lost out on. And it's radium up. That's good, at least. Wow, most of it all down. And Pocket Network up 34%. Well, that's nice to see, thank God. Well, we are seeing the market is maturing. It's not everything is down. We can see and not all down the same amount. We can see there are a few good positions today, and also rally. Anyway, let's have a look at our portfolio. As we can see, up over time. Again, I'm not going to mention them all with Illuvium. We're all up with Still good. Compound, I still believe. I mean, compound is only a matter of time, I think, until it's going to take off. The same with Kusama. I think with Uniswap, with the polka dots. I mean, have any of you followed this dot is dead? I mean, I'm not even looking at it anymore, I have to say. I really don't have to prioritize my time. And still down with GameFi. Remember, GameFi, I would not, I mean, that was a good investment in the previous cycle. Let's see, but also every initial gaming offering or coin offering that we participated in, all the coins are down. So let's see, it can be that they've lost reputational and might not ever recover. So keep yourself out of that. Thorchain Rune, of course, lovely. We always like that. Synthetics good, optimism is good. And let's just see. Radium up 1000%. It's good to see when we're above that 1000%. Energy Web Token still down since we got in 37%. I mean, all I would advise is to keep dollar cost averaging in to Energy Web Token. I still believe this is going to be the ultimate market leader when it comes to energy. Now remember, this is not financial advice. Do your own research, because I don't know shit about crypto. Okay, and I know some of you, we also like to follow the meme coins, right? So let's look at the meme portfolio and see how we're doing there. I was actually thinking, and that's probably what I will do at some point. Remember, we got in $500. I think it's a month ago. Cherry did that, and now she's up. It's altogether 1,700, right? And she invested in Dog with Hat, up 450%. Flocky up almost 300. Pepe 169. Shiba Inu 116. Dogecoin 58. Remember, I don't consider that a blue chip. And then Bonk. My strategy with the meme coins is to figure out which ones of them you can actually trade with leverage on Bybit, and then at some point actually take short positions. And I will also, we will see if we're going to win on that, because I don't think that these have long-term value or utility. Let's go in and see if anybody wants to chat, and then we will move right on to the main theme of today. So let's see who is here. We got 21. I mean, we always stay at that 20 solid, loyal lions. What can I say? John, do you know any other way to track total value locked on Moonriver coins besides DeFi Llama? No, I really use DeFi Llama. Of course, you can also go in and look at them, But why you're not happy with DeFi Llama? Let me know. Take, what's up, my friend? What's up? And Blood, you say blockchain bully dot played us. Why are you saying it played us? Is dot or dot is dead? I don't, I think it's still gonna come. And blockchain bully, thank you for your recommendation when it came to real world assets. I actually got myself a position for Betty, of course, right? This goes without saying, but I will look more into it and then actually announce it on the channel. But I did get in just to test it, because I believe you're on top of things. So thank you, blockchain bully. Okay, guys, let's go in and let's see what we have today. First of all, we the people, we need to take control back. And remember, in the beginning of this year, I made a video where we were talking about there are many upcoming elections this year. No face. I will answer that after this. If they're all questions, I will, answer it in 20 minutes. This is what it's going to take for this little presentation. Well, I think all of us, we are aware that the world is going, crazy, right? Left is right, right is left, and up is down, and down is up. A man is a woman, and a woman is a child, and a child is a man, and whatever. But when it comes to this implosion, we all know that the national debt of the United States is, it's really increasing, and currently it's around 34 trillion, and that would make around 102,000 for every single person in America. Now, I would like to ask you, what do you think that the national, or the debt of Russia is compared to the United States? That would be interesting. Obviously, we're going to look at that in a few minutes. So the debt, it's funny because the US debt, and this relates to what I was saying in the beginning. I do believe that the fraudulent monetary system is going to implode. Um, and then we are going to have, everything is going to then just everything else new. The new financial system is going to be on the blockchain. And the United States is not going to have this power. It's not going to be this huge dominant country as it was before, but there will be global institutions that will overtake that. But that's where we also have another problem, and that is with the BRICS, right? Because we are very much heading towards a not from a unipolar to a monopolar world domination. Obviously, we got NATO, the European Union, the West, Canada, United States, and so on one side, and then we got the BRICS, Brazil, China, India, and 32 other countries that want to join. The BRICS are big, and I think they are on the right side of history. So why am I now? I want to go through this because we can kind of calculate how much longer it will take until we're really going to see the implosion, and probably also the full transition from traditional to digital on the blockchain. So the US debt is rising by 1 trillion every 3 months, and US interest expenses is rising by 100 billion every 4 months. The US government debt has much shorter terms than most countries, as rates are currently higher due to attempts to deal with inflation. Previously issued low interest debt is now being reissued at much higher rates. And if the Fed, the central bank, doesn't cut rates by 150 basis points, 1.5%, then the US government will be spending 1.6 trillion on interest at year end. The other issue has been spending, because spending continues to rise, with US government spending past 5 months, 2.7 trillion, up 9% year over year, on course for 6.7 trillion for fiscal year 2024. Before we go in and look at some charts, when we talk about inflation, I would love to have a graph for this, but I don't. You see, when we talk about inflation, we, remember in 22, I think the inflation was around 4%, and then in 23, of COVID, it was 7%. And remember, the Federal Reserve always wanted to go back to 2%. What people always forget is that if we had 4% in year 1, 7% in year 2, and 2% in year 3, that would be 4 plus 7 plus 2. Means that the same thing that cost, let's say, $100 in the first year is then not gonna just, if we 3 years later reach a 2% inflation, gonna cost 100 too. No, it's gonna cost 100 plus 4 plus 7 plus the 3. You see, many people, I think, don't really understand how inflation, but we will talk about that on another time. But inflation is also what is devaluing the purchasing power of the dollar, while it's almost worthless. Anyway, this chart, the quality is not so great, but it shows here the US interest payments based on 3 scenarios. Now, obviously, the lowest one would be assuming that they would cut the 1.5%. Then at the year end, it would be 1.1 trillion in US interest payments. If they don't, then it's 1.2. And if we go over, and the maximum could be 1.6 trillion by the year end, which is a lot. Now, the surging cost of the US government debt, let's say interest cost control by Fed. Here we can see that in 2008, we were at 450 billion. In 2020, 584 billion. So this was the interest payments on US Treasury. And by February 2024, we were at 1.1 trillion. So I mean, the United States is simply not slowly moving towards a scenario where they won't even be able to pay the interest that is owed on the bonds, on the treasury that they have issued. And that's when you are mathematically in default. So the US national debt on course to double in just 8 years. So probably this 8 years is something we should take into consideration. The US national debt and projecting is assuming that 1 trillion increase every 100 days. So if we're going to really take the current situation, which is that the national debt increases by 1 trillion every 100 days, if we're gonna, play that out over 8 years, that would mean that by, what is that here? What is that here? By 2025? No. U.S. national debt set to double in 8 years. So from 17, that's actually already, what are they saying here? In 2025, it would mean that it would be by 40 trillion. I mean, we all know. I mean, I think we're heading there, and I think we all are aware that it will probably implode. And this is very basic. This chart here. This is basically total income and total outcome, and we can see that obviously the United States government are completely spending a lot more, and currently running a deficit of 1.6 trillion. And I mean, the data I got here, it could be wrong, right? But we all know that United States has actually overtaken, I think, even Japan by being the most indebted country on the planet. And that is funny because when you go in and you look at Russia's debt clock, Russia's national debt is not more than 274 billion. Not even talking trillion. And this was last updated on March the 7th. So I was thinking, let's go in and have a look at how they actually, how do they come to these numbers. And there's this website, which is called commodity.com. And that's where you can go in and look at that. And you can both get it in rubles or you can convert it to United States dollars. And as you then can see here, so the national debt per citizen is only 1,873, much lower than the 100,000 that we have in the United States. And the debt as of percentage of GDP is only at 27% versus America. I think they're at 99% or almost 100. Now, these are things that you probably already know. So this isn't probably, I mean, I don't know if you actually, were you aware that Russia's economy, even though that they have, been through or submerged to, I don't know how many sanctions from the West, and they're just still doing good. And that's probably not a bad thing if you also think about that Russia is, co-founder of the BRICS. They probably are going to launch a new currency, probably on the blockchain, however, based by commodities. It will be interesting to see. Anyway, you can also go in and do more research there. I thought this was interesting. And let's move on here to the next slide. So now that we got this, let's go in and look a little bit at the political situation. And I think Ukraine at the moment is really a good example of where we are seeing the West and the BRICS are fighting it out, the battlefield. And so Ukraine's fresh existential threat from the polling booths of the European Parliament elections. And we're really seeing across Europe, and thank the good Lord, we are seeing parties, call them right-wing, I would say parties of logic, real people that are using real logic arguments. Don't lock down an entire country. Don't increase the national debt for weapons when you can't even feed your own people or build adequate infrastructure. So we are seeing here, we're really seeing the Ukraine, losing. They're losing the war, but they're also losing support. And the biggest threat is not from Russia, but from Europe. So a small but significant and highly vocal bloc of hard right parties, hard right, I would say extreme right, not right to the right, right on, brother, right on. Right parties are on the march across the continent and are set to perform strongly in June's European Parliament elections. They have posted record results in Portugal and the Netherlands and are already in government in places such as Hungary, Finland, and Italy. They are poised to win looming national elections in Austria and Belgium or win European elections in France and Poland. And as I've probably said before, I follow Austria a lot. I lived many years in Austria. I love Austria. And there we're going to see the Party of Freedom. Party of Freedom. Freedom Party. They are in every single poll way ahead. And they want to stop the war and increase love for your fellow neighbors, and but not inviting all these immigrants that don't know how to behave. And I think they're taking a very healthy approach, and I'm happy to see that this is not only in Austria. In Austria, I'm really following. I'm listening to the debates. And I'm because I simply can't follow it in every country, but I really know that Austria and I believe also in many other countries, as we can see here, they've had enough. They've had enough. God damn it. Many of them think Europe should no longer supply weapons and aid to Ukraine. Some even want Europe to appease Vladimir Putin and end sanctions against Russia and push Ukraine into peace talks. I mean, think about it. How nasty they are that they want peace talks. Fuck them. We need some real war. Anyway, also Donald Trump, he has threatened to halt what he calls the endless flow of American treasure to Ukraine if he wins the White House in November. And I hope he will win. It's almost like, Trump is on the right side as these right-wing parties. But you know what? This obviously the current illegit president of Ukraine is faced with a real problem. He's losing support from the US. He's now the support in Europe is dwindling. And actually on the 1st of April, yesterday, it was supposed to be election day in Ukraine. But no. Zelensky and his wife Zelenskaya didn't want to hear anything about that. And what they chose to do is no elections. Of course, we got martial law. And since the Europeans, they are kind of, moving their backs against supporting Ukraine, Ukraine thought it would be a good thing to go and knock on India's door, right? So we saw here the foreign minister from Ukraine, he was arriving in New Delhi and he was trying to boost ties with India, which is a historical ally of Russia, to say the least. Just look at how Putin and Prime Minister Modi, they're soul brothers.
My man. Soul brother, huh? Soul brother.
Those two fellas, they like each other. And they like each other because they have common interest, mutual interests. But nevertheless, Zelensky still sent his foreign minister there, even though that since 2022, Ukraine has outright insulted India. You see, we saw in August 2022, came from the Ukrainian foreign ministry, India buying Russian oil mixed with Ukrainian blood. They didn't stop there. September 2023, during the G20, Ukraine's foreign ministry again, India's G20 statement, nothing to be proud of. No. But now still going begging to India. And the third, let's say the third rude comment came in September 2023 from, I think it was, it might even have been the foreign minister himself, but India has weak intellectual potential. So let's see how moody he was welcoming our friend Zelensky, the illegit president of Ukraine.
Well. All those jokes you made, huh? Now who needs help, huh? Okay, bastard, here's what we're going to do.
I think we could see a real difference in approach. Now, to end this up, I think this is, it's try to keep it short, and I hope it does give you some things to think about. There was an American blogger, Black in the Empire, and he wrote the following: the Russian economy is weak, but has survived 13 rounds of sanctions while at war. Putin is so unpopular, but he received 80% of the votes. Especially the fact that Zelensky were calling him a dictator, I think was a little bit out of line. Russia is isolated, but 32 other countries want to join BRICS. And the BRICS themselves, it's a universe for itself. And you should probably, I don't know if you're already following it, but you got infobricks.org, where you can get all the latest news. Currently, BRICS under Russian chairship, and you can go in and you can, there's so much great geopolitical news from a complete different angle than what we, just look at this, Monday, 1st April, right? Russia and India again. They're soul brothers. Multipolarity should become the next big idea in Russian-Indian relations. This is what it is, right? They're soul brothers.
My man. Soul brother, huh?
Soul brother.
And then there's also, of course, tvbricks.com, and this is also where you can go in and see many other interesting things. But what is happening was currently Israel bombing Iran's consulate or embassy in Syria. This is also I'm not gonna touch up on Israel today. Also YouTube doesn't like if we talk too much about that. But I think the BRICS is the right side of history, and as we also see, the last comment from this American blogger is that the Russian armed forces are weak, the weapons are old, and the soldiers are untrained, but the entire West cannot defeat them. Someone is being fed propaganda, and it could be us. Last but not least, funny here, a list of books concerning Biden, including Gabriel de Bendetti's The Long Alliance, sold around 1,500 hardcovers. And the other one, The Fight of His Life, sold 5,000. The Last Politician, around 12,000. Meanwhile, Michael Wolff's book, Fire and Fury, sold almost 1 million. Obviously, Fire and Fury is Trump related. I think that says a lot. I think we are on the way. It's going to be a tough road ahead, but I hope that we the people, and if we consider the right wing parties, not the right wing, but the parties that are right, logic, pursuing freedom, individual privacy, and hopefully if we can get Trump in and get some peace, then the next big problem we're going to have to deal with is going to be the war against China. But that is after 2025. That's it from today. Let's see if there's a question, and then we can finish it. Let me see here. Let me just have a little sip here. Liam, you should have shielded Aeos. If you should have done it before. Okay. And you. No Face is asking, what are my targets now? Well, Energy Web token. No, my targets there. I don't think I made any targets for those two. I I don't have targets for them. Reason being is, sometimes when I look at the targets and I talk about Bitcoin and say 250, or when I look at Ethereum and 15, I mean, remember my targets, they're also somehow pulled out of Betty's pupa. But with Energy Web token, I think it's difficult because you would assume, and with Algorand for that matter also, you would assume that at some point it's going to be an exponential explosion in price. And that would hopefully, from my anticipations, clearly outperform the previous all-time highs. But that will be based on adoption and utility. But of course, I with Energy Web token, I mean, they're building and they have also made their new platform, and I'm staking and doing it. To me, it seems sound and it looks good what they're doing. But obviously, Energy Web token has never been a protocol that has, tried to gain traction, attention, like the meme coins. How you doing, Oliver? Okay, so let me see. I suspect DeFi Llama may receive incentives to show specific coins. Yeah, John. I mean, that could also be true, but I still think that they, it is on the blockchain, right? So they would have to. I mean, they would have to. They would have to, report the right amounts, right? What was it that you were asking? You were track a Moonriver, but of course, I'm sorry. Of course, I know where you can track Moonriver. You just go into poker. Poker scans, or they got so many own explorers. I will share that in the Telegram chat after here, because they got a few. But of course, you can just go in and use Moonriver's own explorer. You don't need to use a DeFi Llama. I don't know if that answers, but you would assume that DeFi Llama is going to show the exact same numbers you're going to find on the explorer of Moonriver and Moonbeam and all the parachains. I'm always be certain. That token is dead. What a piece of nonsense that was. I mean, talking about Polkadot and the meme coin, how could they fuck it up so much? Everyone was so excited about Dot is dead. And I mean, it just looked in the Telegram chat, but it became the Telegram. I mean, everything they promised, they didn't live up to, right? You were supposed to be pre-advised when they were going to make a snapshot. And I myself were actually gonna, increase our position in Dot for that snapshot. Maybe many others would have done that. That would have, if anything, increased the price of Dot. They didn't do that. We were supposed to receive 1,000 dead tokens for one Dot. And then we got whatever, 36. I mean, I don't even look at it. And when you go in and look at the Telegram chat, it has become a group chat of misery. I mean, it's supposed to be fun. No, it's not. It's misery. So what else here? Is this the forecast? Is this forecast because there was also a doubling from 2008 to 2016? No, actually, I guess you're talking about the national debt. I mean, I took it from an analyst, and it could also be wrong, but I don't think that it was how it was in the past. They're doing this doubling based on the current interest rate environment and the outstanding debt, and of course also the spending. Now, should the United States government stop spending? Should they decrease the interest rates? Then of course it could look differently. So of course, everything when it comes to the future is an assumption based on certain assumptions. However, one thing that I think that where we can be pretty confident is that the United States debt has, since 110 years, basically it's 1913, it has only, the money supply has increased, inflation has increased, the purchasing power of the dollar, it's almost, I mean, there are some charts you can go in and see. I think the purchasing power of $1 has almost dropped like 95% in purchasing power. But if you then look at the money supply, how much money that has been issued, it goes, money is being issued and the purchasing power is going down. I mean, and that's how it works. So I think the trend is your friend, and this trend, I mean, is very much your friend. The United States it's only a matter of time. I mean, no fiat-based system has ever survived. And usually it's around 100 years that you can mathematically kind of keep it going. And now we're in 110. Well, you could also say, but then there are other things you could say, oh, okay, maybe it was a little bit later. It was since the dollar got taken off the gold standard and this and that and so on. So you can go and add a little here and there. But I think we are very much on our way. And remember, it's just important to go green, right? You're just gonna go green. All that carbon emission there, we just gotta save ourselves. And probably they're also gonna come with some things that are gonna hurt the economy. So what do you say? Immigrant son, hi all, gotta catch up a little. Tax season, rough hours. Hoping this line community helps me get out of this office for good sooner. What are you talking about, taxes? Are you do tax session, rough hours? Are you immigrant son? Are you working for one of the, as a tax, what do you call it, for auditing company? Let us know. We don't even know. We're with you. Yeah, I hope the work is not hard. No, I really hope. World War III. Yeah. Let's see if it's gonna come. Let's hope not. Let's hope we can get around it, right? Oliver, what do you say? Oliver and Georgia. Who's Georgia boy? Let us know. How's everyone with the little shakeout? This is, I mean, I think, Oliver, you seem to be a seasoned investor. So, and what, you took all you took your energy web tokens off KuCoin, and then what did you do? Did you then lift them so you got the EVTX? Let me think. Thank God you still believe in that. So no idea on Algo and EVT. Algorand, I mean, no, not a specific price target, but very optimistic on them. Hallelujah. My price target is, my real predictions are Bitcoin 250,000. And then all the others, I mean, I am not Nostradamus, right? And I could be completely wrong with everything. But I can simply not predict every coin. I guess we just sell near 2025 somewhere whatever it reaches. I think, no, this is no face. You also know that when I've done so many streams when we are talking about the psychology, the market psychology, right? And so it's not only that we base it on 2025, and we will base it very much on the sentiment of the market. I think the psychology does play a big role. Many things will play a factor, right? Remember, we have looked at this, so we're trying to look once, where we are in this cycle of, basically, as everybody says, when the milkman and the taxi driver, when they start entering, when your great nephew that you haven't heard from 10 years starts calling you up asking about getting into crypto, that's when you motherfucking sell. Right? You offload your coins to your dumb nephew who didn't wish you Merry Christmas for the past 10 years and only calls you because he wants something. That's how we do it. And also, another thing is, obviously, I do think that also when you look at the US economy, I mean, they have to, you see, that is actually important because we were talking about the national debt increasing. And at some point, very soon, it would simply be not possible for the US government to pay the interest on the outstanding debt. Unless, and that was actually the whole point of what I was trying to say, unless they're going to cut interest rates. So I'm pretty sure that they're going to cut interest rates. That, on the other hand, is going to trigger a new economic boom, especially in the stock market and the crypto market. And I think that this is going to last, into sometime into 2025. And that's when we're really going to see these peaks of going up. And that's when we offload quickly. Get all the coins out of your back pocket, your right pocket, left pocket, and then convert them, unfortunately, to US dollar or euro. But then you go out and buy assets, real assets. Building up a real estate imperium I'm going to be a landlord administrator for Betty. Oh, guys. To 250 roughly what time frame? You know that, Tony. 250,000 by October 2025. Oh, no face. I like it. Phil is no face. I will listen to you. I will try my best. We will exit together. Oliver, EVT is currently on MetaMask. I need help with the lift process. Yeah, let me just put it like this. With the lift process, they're suggesting that you can use two wallets, the Nova wallet and the Sub wallet. Now, I gotta say, when I use the Nova wallet, which you can only download on your telephone or your smartphone or whatever, that didn't work for me. The Nova wallet on my phone, all it did was basically block my entire phone. So then I downloaded the Sub wallet, which you can do on the desktop, and that worked perfectly. So, I mean, maybe I can save you some time. Try with the Sub wallet, because then it was really not so difficult. I'll look into it tonight. That's going to be a long night, Oliver. Long night. After the reading, the hanky-panky business they are doing. Basically, what we're talking about, all centralized exchanges, right? It's always better that you keep your coins in your own wallet, in your own exchange, and then you are the master of hanky-panky. A small CPA firm, mostly US taxes, a few international clients. Time to start planning for those capital gains. My man, immigrants, my man, that's exactly what it is. You are on the right side of history, among the 1%. I hope that you've done your investments. But immigrant son, you've been here, for a while, so you must be doing good. I'm not sure if I buy assets. I may just buy music copyrights. There you go. No face. I mean, maybe you can convince Betty that we will also put a little bit in there. Just need to hear it again. I love you, Tony. And Tony, are you still optimistic on those private coins? I really haven't gotten into them, and I do know. Please share which ones are your favorite. If we don't do it here, then do it. How do you spell it? Then do it in the chat. And Sub wallet. No, from Sub wallet. Like, from Polkadot and Parachains and why do they call it Sub wallet? I don't know. I can show you here. 1 second. Let's go in. I think you can Sub wallet. What's up wallet? Sub wallet. I think it's this one, Sub wallet. App. But I mean, I did it very quickly. Always be careful with this. Go to, you can, but I'm pretty sure it's this one. It's the Polkadot substrate. That's why I call it a Sub wallet. Sub wallet. And don't forget, Putin, he might not be good friends with the West and not with NATO. He is good friends with Moody. But we all know his absolutely real soul brother is Xi.
Nice and hot. I love spicy meat. Yeah, boy.
They like to eat and drink and celebrate what is to come. The ultimate rise of the BRICS countries. Imagine that 32 other countries wants to join them. And I actually think that they are much more reasonable and logic than what we are seeing in the West. Remember, we are lions, but we are lions with the attitude of an eagle. I love you. I won't be here. I will be here back in a week. By the way, I'm still optimistic on the market. I feel I've shared and given everything. Actually, I should come back next, like No Face says, when we're going to offload our tokens. No, I'll be back in a week. Take care. Thank you for being here.